Jimbo Fisher just continues to stay in the news as he was recently interviewed on a local news station in Texas. It was a pretty brief interview, but there were some notable takeaways, including Jimbo saying that only one early enrollee has an NIL deal, and that essentially the entire media has lied about Texas A&M and how they've gone about this entire NIL process. Before we dive into today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you're a college football fan, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to join the best college football community here on YouTube. Also, if you could drop a like on this video as well, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm of the video and helps share it with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. So after that debacle from last week featuring Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, the A&M head coach continued to voice his frustration over everything that's going on. He was interviewed on a local news station in Texas where he was clearly still pissed and even started firing back at the reporter. Here's some clips from his interview.
Rules are always changed. It had nothing to do with it. And name, image, and likeness, I keep saying this about recruiting. And I just researched this. Of the 11 guys we have in placing that came early, one guy has an NIL deal.
Really?
Yes.
Just one?
Just one. So all these stories you're hearing are complete lies.
Well, now,
because
what happened over the last 48 hours?
Nothing, and it never happened before. Because it was written on social media, and it started with the Bro Bible sliced bread deal.
Right.
So everybody believed it.
Now, my first takeaway from this quick bit is that Jimbo actually might not be wrong when saying only 1 out of 11 players have NIL deals already. I'm not 100% certain on how the rules are, but I don't think most of these guys can likely sign NIL deals and start making money until the fall once the season officially begins. So if I were to guess, all 11 of these players are going to have NIL deals once week 1 rolls around. So true, as of right now, only one player has signed a deal and is making money, but Jimbo is making this out that the other 10 aren't going to be making bank whatsoever and that Texas A&M isn't paying all these players. Instead, it should have been phrased, as of right now, only one player is able to make money. But yeah, I do find it funny that he still gets so worked up over this report from a couple months ago from Bro Bible or Sliced Bread, wherever this report came from. This clearly wasn't a reputable source, and everyone knows that it came from this random troll account. A lot of people, myself included, did have a lot of fun with the idea that Texas A&M was paying $30 million for their recruiting class, but I seriously doubt anyone out there actually believed it, considering it came from Sliced Bread. But yet again, Jimbo Fisher continues to get really defensive over it, which definitely makes this entire thing seem a little more suspicious than it already is. If you know that this report was made up and you knew that it wasn't true, then why would you let it bother you so much? This just leads me to believe that this rumor that came from Sliced Bread about the $35 million report actually was pretty close in the ballpark to what the number was that Texas A&M was paying, and I think that's why Jimbo Fisher is still so affected by it. I just think it's hilarious that all these months later, this still pisses him off so much, again, considering that this entire rumor came from Sliced Bread.
Nick, all the people obviously believed it. I went and checked with our compliance people because we have nothing to do with it. One guy.
Of the 11?
Yes. Of the early enrollees. Of the early enrollees.
Gotcha. So that said, what is all this dust up about then?
Great point.
I've just got to ask you, were you shocked that this came up? Because you just told me you only had one.
I said that about a while ago. It's like, that's why I made the original one back in February when they said we had $35 million in a thing. That's all false. It was written on social media so everybody believes it. And you got news channels believing it. Hey, big people believing it. And you believed it.
Well, and Nick Saban believed it, obviously.
Well, he's not news. You're news. You're media. Do you guys not research?
But
I'm asking you. Did you do your research?
You just
no. See, you can't answer. So you just assumed, and that's the way this world goes now. As soon as it's written on social media and someone says it, you believe it. So where does that put you as guys as reporters?
Where does that put coaches like Nick Saban who know better? If that's the case.
Where does that put reporters at?
So you're defending Nick Saban?
No, I'm asking you guys to put it out in the media. Just hold on. I ain't getting into this.
No, I understand, but I just wanted, is this change?
It's because social media and media put it out. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You believed it. You just asked me.
Sure. Does that change anything?
What's it change? Nothing has changed in the beginning. Truth. What's the truth? Nobody wants the truth. You want a story and a click and a hit.
So Jimbo was really going all over the place here, and he didn't really answer any of the reporter's questions. He came after the reporter for running with the sliced bread report. Now, I don't know the history of this news station and whether or not they did a story on that when that was a topic a few months ago, but I doubt they did an entire story based on a report from an account online with no information whatsoever. Now, did they run something on Texas A&M landing the greatest recruiting class ever? Did they insinuate that Texas A&M boosters were opening up their checkbooks to bring in recruits? They very well could have. Now, I've looked all over Google, I've looked all over YouTube, and I've tried to find any reports on possible dollar amounts and how much Texas A&M truly spent on recruiting. But the only report we've gotten over the last few months, again, you know it, came from sliced bread. Now, I don't think any information on NIL deals are made public. We don't know how much money each player is getting, so it would be impossible to report on the amount of money that Texas A&M shelled out. Which again, although everyone had fun with that report from a couple months ago, everyone knows that's likely not the case since none of this information is made available to us. For all we know, it could have been $10 million, which again, might be by far the most money any university is shelling out. Or that could be significantly lower than the $30 million reported, and maybe it's something like $40 or $50 million. Again, that's information that we likely will just never know.
What's the next question? See, I threw you off your game right now.
Well,
you're off your game. You're out of question.
Definitely not out of question.
Yeah.
So how does that change the?
Doesn't change anything. Because I know the truth, and I've always known the truth. That's why.
Then why would he make that accusation?
Have to ask him. Just let me handle it.
Why would he make that accusation though? If it's
Why did you make that accusation?
I didn't make any accusations.
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Has he apologized to you at all?
No, we haven't talked.
Would you accept his public apology?
I said we're not talking.
But he publicly apologized. Do you accept that?
I didn't read it. I don't read social media.
We said it on Sirius XM, but whatever.
I don't listen to radio. I don't listen to that.
Gotcha. Do you think this is of what happened over the last 48 hours? Do you think this is somewhat of a snapshot of a bigger picture problem?
I have no idea.
When it comes to the NIL?
I have no idea. NIL wasn't a problem.
Why are the Aggies so good at this? In other words,
we're not.
Oh, really? You don't think you guys are more organized and more than any other university? You don't think that would not have been somewhat of a motivation of why he did what he did?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Gotcha. Is there anything you'd like to add to the last 48 hours that have happened here?
Yeah, there was one deal.
There's one deal. That was it. And those are all.
And I checked on that. And I checked on that from our compliance. That's where it goes.
And that's all 11 of the early signees. Gotcha.
Now, my personal bit was right at the end when Jimbo Fisher said that the Aggies aren't good at this whole NIL process. Now, come on, Jimbo. Clearly, Texas A&M is the best program in the entire country when it comes to managing NIL and how to utilize it to your advantage. Like I mentioned earlier, him just essentially denying this and pretty much acting like he has no idea what's going on makes this look even more suspicious. Personally, I don't think a lot of people in the country have a problem with Texas A&M using this to their advantage. I think most people have accepted that this is the new era of college football, and this is likely what it's going to take to land the top recruits in the country. The thing that most people appear to have a major problem with is the fact that Jimbo Fisher is lying and denying pretty much everything that's going on. I mean, Texas A&M just landed the greatest recruiting class in college football history. What have they accomplished over Jimbo's tenure that would lead to that kind of recruiting class? You've seen the recruiting classes for Texas A&M over the years. They've been solid, but they haven't been at this level. They're coming off an 8-win season. Jimbo Fisher has yet to win the SEC while at Texas A&M, and now, all of a sudden, they magically quadruple that recruiting class once NIL is involved. Everyone in the country knows what's going on, but Jimbo Fisher's ego just doesn't want to admit it. I guess he just wants to carry the image that he landed the greatest recruiting class on his own without promising top recruits huge paydays. Honestly, if he were to publicly admit it, it would be even more beneficial for Texas A&M and their branding. I mean, if you're Jimbo Fisher, you gotta sell this shit. You gotta get up there and say, we have the best fans in all of college football, we have the best boosters in all of college football, and we're all willing to do whatever it takes to win. If you want to get a big payday and come be a part of this winning program that's on the rise and committed to winning, Texas A&M is the place for you. Just say that, because that's what everyone in the country is pretty much thinking. Let everyone know that you're all about that and own it. Instead, he continues to lie and acts as if Texas A&M hasn't done anything wrong, which is weird considering this isn't illegal. I mean, at this stage in college football, we know the players are getting paid, so again, I don't know why Jimbo Fisher is acting like he's doing something he shouldn't be doing. I don't know, Jimbo Fisher is just acting like a defensive high schooler when everyone knows they're in the middle of a big lie. It seems like every interview he does, he's just digging himself into a bigger and bigger hole. I mean, it's really going to be something once the regular season begins and all of these players are going to be posting on Instagram of these brand new houses, these brand new cars. They're going to be flexing all the money they're making. And again, Jimbo Fisher's going to be like, oh, we didn't do that. That has nothing to do with Texas A&M. So yeah, Jimbo Fisher, stop digging yourself in a hole, man. Just admit what's going on. We all know what's going on. If you were to admit it, I don't think anyone would care. But yeah, you're digging yourself in a hole. You're making this entire situation a lot worse. And we still have more than 3 months until the college football season is set to begin. So I wouldn't be shocked if we hear a lot more from Jimbo Fisher. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the news a lot more. And I wouldn't be shocked if he continues to be defensive over this entire thing. Which again, at this point, this is just like a high school drama story that continues to get worse and worse as the year progresses. So what are your thoughts on Jimbo Fisher and this latest interview? Do you think that he needs to come clean and just admit that Texas A&M is using NIL to their advantage? Or do you think he should continue to act like he has no idea what's going on and that NIL had no impact on the greatest recruiting class in college football history? Whatever your thoughts are on Jimbo Fisher and this entire situation, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't done so yet, now is still the perfect time to smash that subscribe button and join the community here on YouTube. Again, if you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. Oh, and make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with that YouTube algorithm, and it helps share the video with more college football fans. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.